I always gotta go do like 5,000 checks just to make sure shit's working. Cause every time, OBS has some kind of update, and then I never know if I'm like on the right stuff. Like right here, my screen says streaming elements, but this is for like multi-streaming. Unauthenticated, you need to be logged in to use this feature. Bro, what is this? I thought I was already logged in. Log in with stream elements. What's going on, guys? Everybody in the stream. God damn, that was terrible. What's going on, guys? What's up, everybody in the stream? Also, I got another problem, right? I just got a bunch of problems going on, right? These headphones, the Sony WXM4s or whatever, like the Mark 4s, the Buds. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm using like the wrong like USB-C charging cables or something. But whenever I plug them in, they like this light. It just did y'all see that? This light, this is orange, but it'll blink red. And then I don't know if it's about to just blow up because it'll be really hot and then not charge, or I don't know. All right. Uh Let me see. I need to sign in with Stream Elements. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, I don't know why it's. Okay. All right, I gotta log in. Hold up. Is that right? I think that's right. Uh, Hold on. Okay, I couldn't remember my password. I think that's right. Oh, yes, this is me. Two-step verification. Hello? All right, there we go. Just making sure I'm logged in. Oh, okay. Hey Derek, welcome to Ground Control 2.0. Uh, I don't want the tour. Can I skip the tour? I have to start the tour. Okay. Ooh, in other news that's like not anime related, I was watching what was it? I saw like a video or like a post that was talking about the songs and artists that are gonna be in GTA 6. It's pretty big. We got Dochi in there too. A large variety of panels. Okay, multi layouts. Okay, quick action, keep on stream deck support. Okay, cool. Oh wow, this actually looks decent. Why is my this active? Well, do I just close that one out now? Okay. I guess I'll close that one out too. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to like figure out what is going on with this. This new panel has got me like jacked up. I don't, bro. OBS, what are y'all doing? Why can't I? I can't see my activity feed. That's great. Okay. All right. Can't see activity feed on my docs for some reason. Let me pull up YouTube chat. I mean, why would I pull up YouTube chat when there's nobody watching? I mean, no one chatting. I ain't got nobody chatting, but it's all right. Docs. Multi-chat. I'm not on Twitch, so I don't need to use that. Anyway, bro. Okay. I should have went and looked through all of that stuff like before. But anyway, if you're new to the chat, what's up? Oh my god. All right. Let me see. So there are like maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's like 4 things I wanted to react to and check out. Also, if you want to drop like your top 3 or your top 5 anime, I'm trying to do a video later on in the future, maybe in like the next 2 weeks, depending on how many people like come in here and then drop their top 3 or top 5. So that way I can like make a poll or like a list of everybody's favorite or top anime, especially if I don't know what it is. Like even if I don't know what kind of anime it is, I'm gonna record it, and you know it'll be like how many people have submitted AOT as their number 1. So that'll be, you know, from AOT had like 6 submissions and that's number 1, okay? And then let's say Naruto had 5 submissions, that's number 2. You know? I want to do something like that. Just something like, you know, to kind of engage with the community, cuz my community is like so broken up, and I don't understand like how YouTube is going to like fix this, because YouTube is trying to get into, you know, the streaming space a little bit more, because they've definitely made a lot more improvements with YouTube Studio when it comes to streaming. I don't know if it's particularly because of the way Twitch and Kick and Rumble and all these other apps are coming out and seeing how popular it is, especially with having Kai being in like NBA, the Grammys, having a bunch of his celebrities or a bunch of celebrities on and doing, you know, like whole kinds of stuff, like, you know, having Kevin Hart, Drewski. Like the dude is like changing the game like through and through for streaming. Not saying that there weren't any people before him, like, you know, Summit 1G, Ninja. I don't really watch Ninja too much, but still, like, the atmosphere, it got a lot better and grew more with these people, you know? And then YouTube, I feel like they're trying to, you know, they're like trying to figure out a way to get their hands on that and maximize it, rather than just kind of like scrape up all the remains, because TikTok is still a big reason as to why like everybody went into like the shorts format, you know, like Instagram went shorts format with their IG reels, but I'm just kind of like explaining things that are already obvious, right? But my point is YouTube is trying to figure out a way to make things better. And like I said, my audience is just so split, because a majority, it's changed now within the past month. A majority of my audience or my subscribers came from shorts, and YouTube doesn't really promote your long form content or your live. At least what I've seen, they don't share that with they don't share shorts viewers amongst your long form videos. Like I'm pretty sure even so here's another thing. Um I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I apologize. So for instance, like with short form content, people can just swipe as much as they want. If they enjoy watching one of your videos, then they know that they can go to another video that's probably going to be under than a minute, up until YouTube stretched it to 3 minutes long for a short. But I feel like a majority of people aren't going to be watching a short for 3 minutes long unless it's pretty like informative or it's something like high production, right? Or unless you have like a good talking point like what I'm giving right now, right? Usually they just want to get into a 30-second clip, get their dopamine rush, and then go to the next one. And YouTube doesn't bring that audience from shorts to long form because they know that their attention spans are so shocked and so low that they're not going to go from watching a 30-second to a 3-minute clip to go watching long form content, which could be up to an hour long. You know? Like, I have no problem being on here yapping for 1 hour long. Like, I can do this all day. I can talk all day. I can talk about whatever. So, you know, hopefully YouTube figures out something like a good balance, because the way that I see it, if you're subscribed to my channel, you should be able to see my shorts, my lives, and my long form content. That's just how I feel. But all right, let's see. I wanted to go ahead and let's get into I don't know if we want to do any news first or DJ the Champ or CJ the Champ. I keep messing up his name and I apologize. CJ, if you ever somehow in the future get served up one of my videos or my live streams and you see this, I apologize, bro. CJ the Champ. I need to do better. I know that it's a mistake. I need to ingrain it. All right. All right. So, let's see. Moonrise anime, which is official trailer, had dropped like 2 days ago. I needed to check that out. I need to check out the beginning after the end official trailer 2 that dropped 4 days ago. And then Annie News and CJ the Champ. I don't know how many of y'all have watched Invincible, but it is I don't want to call it fantastic, but it is a ginormous step in the right direction. It's not an anime, but if you put Japanese voice actors on it, it kind of turns it into one, you know what I mean? So let me just go ahead and get into the reaction. Let's go ahead and check, make sure this is the right. All right, I bet. All right. The Trial of Conquest. CJ the Champ. Ooh, wait. I need to put in my buds, bro. All right. I'm gonna guess that these probably have maybe like 70% battery because I put it on the fast charger. Ooh, 80%. Okay. All right. The following footage of the video has been used for parody, commentary, and educational, and is protected by fair use. Please support the official release.
One of Satan's greatest soldiers was King Von.
Something was wrong.
Okay, I know I paused too early in the beginning, but The fact if y'all gotta know who Charleston White is. You don't know who Charleston White? That's the voice he just used.
With him, that's not human, man. You're not regular, man.
When I heard that Vaughn guy, I was relieved for the community, man. Cause he was over there shitting them guys, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, he was dead, bro. If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself.
Oh, is it too low?
By himself.
He was the devil,
Relieved for
man.
the community,
Satan's
man.
greatest soldiers.
Relieved for the community.
Hold on, gang. Look, it's doing it right now. This is what I was talking about. Yo, can somebody tell me what this means? Like, I get it. Don't tell me. Why don't you go ahead and look it up? Yeah, I have looked it up. That would be the first thing I would do. But if there's anybody who knows firsthand and has resolved this issue, can you please tell me what this means? Because I've gone through like different charge cables. I let the battery die all the way down. I've pulled the pods out. I've tried like restoring them, resetting them, whatever. How do I get is that just the way it's supposed to be?
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this emergency trial. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now. This was not planned. I had like 2 other videos I was working on for this month, but I completely forgot that the man that I have had a seat reserved on this round table for.
Oh my God, amateur, bro.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this emergency trial. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this right now. This was not planned. I had like 2 other videos I was working on for this month, but I completely forgot that the man that I have had a seat reserved on this round table for 3 fucking years has finally made his debut. So everything, and I mean everything, is getting put on hold right now because this monstrosity is the #1 priority right now. So let's go ahead and get down to business. The evidence is on deck and ready to be presented. So without further ado, Exhibit S. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not even Exhibit A, it's Exhibit S.
I present to you this special Exhibit S, Conquest, Satan's greatest soldier. So, do y'all remember back in season 2 when Anissa's trifling ass told Mark that the next time the Viltrumite sends somebody to Earth is gonna be somebody 10 times worse than her? Yeah, this old is who she meant. Conquest, the most terrifying Viltrumite in the Empire. And I really mean that. Because all the other Viltrumites are scared of this nigga. And I mean, I don't blame him. Because this motherfucker look like he loved to scrap. Just take a glance at him. Big buff old nigga with a prosthetic arm that looks like the Infinity Gauntlet, an egregious nasty bald spot, and some crooked ass teeth. This man don't give a damn about his appearance at all. And that is a major sign to never with a nigga like this, cause they ain't got nothing to lose.
He's doing all them weaves. Yo, I watched the season finale for Invincible, and that whole fucking fight, I was definitely like, it had me wincing a little bit how crazy it got.
Do this for the love of the game. So when he pulled up on Mark, motherfucker instantly says, "Stand ready for my arrival, worm." Already degrading this man on their first interaction. This is how you know this ain't gonna go well. Bro already thinks of him as fodder. So they start scrapping, and just by the shockwave of the first punch, people are already dead, flying like rag dolls. So let's just go ahead and get started on this murder count because it's gonna be a lot. You know what? Let me just go ahead and say this. If you thought the collateral damage between Sukuna and Maharaga was bad, this is 10 times worse.
It
so
was.
Conquest headbutts Mark and pile drives him into the ground. And after he pinned bro down, he's
Wait. I want to say though, like Sukuna at the very end of it with Maharaga, he destroyed everything within the entire city. Like he leveled everything, put a giant pit in the ground. But Conquest and Mark, they were just going through, like individual buildings here and there. They didn't have like no energy blast that just leveled the entire town. But it was just the fact that they didn't care. I don't know, bro. Maharaga and Sukuna didn't give a shit about anybody that they were getting, that any civilian that was getting in the way of their fight. It's the same thing with Mark.
Started telling Mark why he was actually here. And this is when we knew this nigga was crazy. He told Mark, right about now, Anissa's trifling skank ass would be yapping to you about, oh, we gotta do this for the Vilcherman buyer, blah, blah, blah. I will tell you this right now, little nigga. I came here to whoop your ass for the love of the game. He really is about this life. Man said, fuck the objective. I came here to whoop your ass, nigga. Drag can kiss my ass. So Mark punches him and
Dude, hold up. Mark? I don't know, bro. I feel like I got like mixed feelings the way that fight ended too. But then again, it's like, how could you, bro? Like, if you saw the damage that Mark had took and the damage that his old girl took, you'd be like, how can you not be satisfied with that? I just wanted Mark to throw better hands with Conquest, but look at him, bro. Look at him. I want to know who did that to his arm. How is his arm like that? Who could have possibly done that to him? Like, that gotta have been a punishment with the Viltrumites. It probably took like 10 of them to grab this dude, and then, you know, like, for your punishment, we're gonna chop off your arm or your hand, and then give you this prosthetic one. And like, what fucking vibranium metal is that fucking thing made out of? They're sitting here going through buildings, destroying shit, going through subway tunnels, throwing buildings. What is that arm made out of?
Conquest is just
Let's be real.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's what I like to see, cowboy. So Mark starts slamming him through multiple buildings. Then he full sends him through the stratosphere and starts hitting him with that Injustice 2 Superman move. Boom! Sending him all the way to space. But at this moment right here is when we figured out that
He
this
fucked
man
up.
is a freaky ass nigga. He blew out a bubble of his blood, shaped it into a heart, and just flicked it. Excuse me? What do you mean by this? Nasty ass nigga. So Conquest rams him back into the atmosphere. They hit him with the right hook with the Infinity Gauntlet. And he just takes a nasty drop to the ground. Hell, even the news caught that on 4K. Mark's mama watching this like, oh my God, my baby boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be
Wow,
anywhere
anybody
near,
in
bro.
This whole show, that be gotta have it the worst. Your son get his ass beat every Thursday. Your husband called you a damn pet, and then he fucked a cockroach, and now you gotta take care of a purple nigga. Man, prayers up for Debbie, man. So while Mark was just knocked out, surviving like
shit.
a 1 HP, trying to get his wits together while coughing up blood, he notices the ground starts to shake, and he knew in his
He's
head,
like, no, wait.
fuck me.
Nigga said, wait, for real.
This man just altered the city. The amount of people that probably just died there is insane. If
Okay, look at all the buildings,
this
bro.
is supposed to be
play it back.
downtown Chicago, which has a population of 244,000. And let's just lowball it, because a lot of people evacuated the city after the Invincible War. So let's say he just dropped off 1/8 of niggas. This man just killed about 30,000 motherfuckers with his ult. Oh man.
Okay, when he put it like that-
needs to be stopped.
Okay, maybe Sukuna wasn't that bad.
Terrorism, just to add that on there. So then he sends them flying, and then he hits Mark with the Injustice 2 super move, and this man just gets flung all the way to another city. Nigga threw his ass to another area code. So after getting flung,
He fucked them up into a city where they evacuated to. It's like that episode of SpongeBob whenever they all tried to move the city because of the worm, and then the worm fell on that city. That's what just happened.
across the country, Mark sees Conquest coming at him at full speed, looking like prime Ray Lewis. But Mark just screams to stop, because he's just giving up at this point. And he's just like, please, I beg of you, shut your ass up, nigga! Motherfucker, I'm having the time of my life right now. And you are over here complaining like a punk pussy bitch. And man, just look at the collateral,
Dude,
bro. This man is
missing a whole leg.
His leg. He just made him an amputee. Oh, Lord. So while Conquest kept on yapping about how he was basically gonna kill everybody on the planet.
Didn't he kill that
Oliver
dude?
comes in,
Oh, there, yeah, Oliver came in.
that senior citizen across the block. But man, oh man, this part is terrible. Oliver flies into Conquest just to get a big slap and dribble like
Yo, so I respect Oliver because he is a ride or die for Mark, because he can remember, bro. He can remember whenever Mark gave his life to protect him. You know what I'm saying? With that dimension dude, that opens up the portals. Cause I mean, Oliver's like what, 30 days old maybe in the show? He might be 30 days old, and he's that big. Pause. But he just really needed to learn a lesson, because he was out there like murdering people or villains, which you can argue, that they deserve to die. But again, Oliver needed to understand how important life is, and Oliver was just snatching people. He was just catching bodies, and he's not even a year old yet. So for him to he was always arguing back about, proving his point and stuff, and for Conquest to just smack the shit out of him like this, it was low-key satisfying, but then it started getting worse.
Basketball, oh my God! He slapped the soul out of this purple nigga. Look at that impact frame. Dear God. Just for that, bro, hit this man with child abuse, because that was disgusting. So
that
he
was.
grabs Oliver midair, and he's like, hey, little purple squirt, what's your name? I like to know the name of my victims before I dismember them. But Mark comes in and saves Oliver's life. And he starts begging to his little brother. He's like, Oliver, get your little ass out of here now. But Conquest did not care that Oliver was a child, because he just thought of him like another toy to play with. So he tackles Mark and just starts slamming him through everything. This man pulled out the whole Broly moveset, dragging him through the ground and shit, and just throwing him like a pussy. And at this point, this wasn't even a fight anymore. This just became pure, unadulterated torture.
It is bad.
Just dragging him through shit, busting through every building possible. And Lord have mercy, the innocent civilians affected by the collateral.
That was bad.
As he slams Mark into the ground, you just hear them falling in the back. Splat. Poor man just went face first into concrete. All
He was just
because
doing his job.
at the wrong place at the wrong time. Damn shame. Then look at his other dude, man. Come on, bruh. So then Conquest uses Mark as a human skateboard and drags him all the way into this bus. And then after this, he proceeded to go on another yap session. Bro was like, kid, seeing your face all bloody like this brings back some good memories. You see, this ain't the first time I whooped your ass, boy. I've actually whooped your ass in another universe. I remember it like it was yesterday. You see, I had this bat named Lucille, and I bashed your fucking skull in. You took it like a champ too, kid.
Y'all, did y'all know that? Did y'all know that the dude Negan, that's his voice actor? He's the voice actor for Conquest. Like, whenever I was watching, I was like, he sounds familiar as fuck. Like, I know that voice from somewhere. And so now, here's another thing if y'all didn't know. Mark is Glenn. I'm pretty sure y'all knew that. If you've already been watching, like season 3 and shit. But for the ones who haven't watched it, Glenn from The Walking Dead and Negan, right there, fighting. So it kind of come full circle, right? It's like, we get to see Glenn put hands on Conquest, aka Negan. And that's like another reason why I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Like, I told myself, if they killed off Daryl, Glenn, I didn't really care too much about Rick, because he was kind of going crazy. Rick was just like, get out. Like, he just kind of seemed like he was being racist sometimes. Like, every time somebody black, he was like shooing out multiple people, but it's like he was accepting people coming in, right? And then as soon as the niggas show up to the prison and they looking for a safe haven, get out. We can't trust him. We can't trust that blackie. Like, bro, what? And then they turned him away. And they was good peoples. And they came back and helped out. But they killed off Glenn. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's it for me, bro. That's up. It's done for me.
You had a eyeball and shit hanging out. And you know what the best part was? Bashing your skull in front of your wife. Absolute cinema. So Oliver comes in to save Mark. And man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This part right here is why Conquest needs to be put on a watch list. He tells Oliver, "Oh, welcome back, little purple squirt. I'm gonna split you in half and eat your heart out." So he slaps Mark and gives Oliver a nasty right hook. And my lord, when Oliver got up, he started puking blood.
His teeth.
His teeth was falling out. All them
He
damn
puked up
That
his
boy about to
teeth.
get Payday from the Tooth Fairy. Then he palms his head, lifts him over him, and starts stretching his body. And he's yapping to him like, "Do you feel your body starting to rip, purple squirt? I bet it feels amazing. I wonder what blood type you are. Personally, O-type tastes the best." But Mark finally saves Oliver from this freaky ass nigga. But dear Lord, y'all already know what we about to do. Hit that nigga with attempted murder with child abuse on the side. Like, yo, he almost ripped this kid in half.
He really
But
did.
Man,
He was
man,
insane, bro.
It's time for this man's nastiest act. The beach. Oh, God, the beach. So we already know that Mark is pretty familiar with being a human meat shield. But this time, I ain't even gonna sugarcoat it. In my opinion, this is way worse than the train. So Conquest starts dragging Mark to a beach. And before tragedy strikes, you just see this girl, and she could only react for a split second. Conquest runs through the beach, killing everybody on impact, flying straight through the city, and ramming people with Mark's body in a straight line. The nigga was moving
Yeah, you gotta
so
have that
fast, he was
censored.
just breaking people's bodies. And oh my God, that poor kid. Mama was probably just walking him to school, and now he ain't got an arm. And
Or a mama.
is roadkill. And we just continue to drag him through the city. Oh, Lord. Mass murder, terrorism. Hit him with every charge in the book, dog. Like, why? This was so unnecessary. You didn't have to do this. And who knows how many.
And that was
bodies
another city. They destroyed the first city that Conquest stepped foot on. Then they destroyed the city that everybody evacuated to. And then if you saw that coming and you assumed that that city was too close and it would be the next battleground and you went one more city over, that still wasn't enough. So if you're an overthinker and then you thought one more time, you thought again, and you're like, you know what? This is it right here. This is the spot. Nope, you should have overthought 2 more times and should have just went somewhere else. And you know what? Overthinking to go to the opposite side of the globe probably wouldn't have been a good idea either, because I wouldn't put it past you if they were able to. Conquest would have came down with Mark whenever he was standing on the moon, right? And then just dive bomb back onto the earth, that he would have just spit right back out to the other side. But you never know. You never even know.
I'm not doing the math for this one. Uncountable. So after this man just committed a literal terror attack, Eve ends up showing up to help her Pookie Bear. And you could just see the look on Mark's face, man. Oh, shorty, out of all the times, why now? And then here go this nigga Conquest looking at her like, well, salutations, fine shit. Ooh, you look delicious.
Salutations,
When Mark came in and
fine
tackled him,
shit.
He was like, get your freaky ass away from her, nigga. But Conquest headbutts Mark and shatters this man's leg. Bone popping out and everything. Your season is over. So the only person standing in this man's way now was Eve. And I ain't gonna lie, Eve locked the fuck in.
She did.
Honestly gave this man a better fight than Mark. She made a whole little Iron Man suit right and started abusing that broken ass power of hers. Out here changing the density of the air, making a big ass hammer, slamming that nigga. Kapow! Let me give you one more. Wha-bam!
Yeah, she may not have been doing like damage like that, but she was connecting, which was literally what Mark wasn't doing. I think Mark connected maybe 5 times, maybe good ones, like solid good ones.
She was comboing this nigga. Mark looking like, damn, maybe I am sorry as hell. Look at her, put a fishbowl on.
Like, Mark need to learn how to fight.
Slam some spike balls into his ass. Then she just started spamming, throwing axes at the nigga, spears at the nigga, crushing him with her wall. She was mashing every button on the controller. But unfortunately for Eve, when she threw her last spear, Conquest finally blocked. And Eve was negative as hell. He sideswipes it. Then he
Yeah, she ran out of
Then he grabs
steam
her,
right there.
Rips the helmet off of her, rips the armor off. And man. He
Oh
shot
my god. Oh, bro. He destroyed her face, her beautiful face, bro. And then he turned her into a... I'll wait.
Flesh off the bitch. Then he drove his hand.
He turned her into a donut. Oh, turned her into a donut. Turned her into a donut. Bro. Hey. Hold on. I'm gonna have to pull up my chat real quick. Hold on, bro. My chat isn't working on OBS for some reason. I'm logged into. It's just a hot mess. Let me see this. I'm gonna have to pull up chat on my phone. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. All right. What's up, Gabby? Am I gonna play Assassin's Creed Shadow? No. Nah. The game doesn't really look that good to me. Assassin's Creed Shadows, no offense to Ubisoft, the game does not look good. And I haven't heard anything good about it either. And I know, you want to try things out yourself, but I don't know. Unless Ubisoft wants to sponsor me, bro, and sponsor the stream, which they have no reason to do so because of how small of a streamer I am. But big in other things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. It doesn't. It was nothing like, okay, the main character is black. Is that it? Like, I heard that the meme game that came out for, or I saw that the meme game that came out got more streams and more downloads than the actual game itself. So, I'm definitely a brand risk, bro, the way I'm talking about these companies and these games, dog. Pray for me. Pray for me. It's not my fault, bro, that I keep it real, dog. Like, I even keep it real whenever it could just ruin my own shit, bro. Like, bro, the Assassin's Creed. Let me stop. That's enough.
Through her guts.
I still want sponsorships.
Cooked. Half her face
But
is
yeah,
broke.
she got turned into a donut. You can't see her face.
And her intestines are literally falling out. Oh, this was just brutal.
That was tough.
And
It was
add
tough.
Salt to the wound. This freaky ass nigga licked her blood and said, "Ooh, delicious. That's gotta be
Oh yeah, I'm playing Elden Ring. I'm actually probably gonna play Elden Ring one of these nights. I really don't understand what's going on with my OBS. It seems like every week they do something to OBS and it's like a hot fix. It's we patched all of this stuff, but all they did was just make shit more complicated and broken. Like the multi-chat looks unusable. My activity feed, there is none. It's just black. Stream elements multi-streaming, unauthenticated, because I'm not signed in, logged in. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this shit is so cooked. So, whenever I decide to go into OBS and figure out what the fuck is going on with it, I'll probably do it in a little bit. Then I'll probably play some Elden Ring, One of these nights, I'm gonna probably play it. Like, I need to get some time in on it because I haven't been playing in a while. I've already beat the game like 3 times. So, and the DLC. Beat the DLC once. Might go ahead and do it all over again. Beat the DLC one more time before Night Raid, just to make sure, I got all my practicing. And I don't know, man. Might start a new game because it might be hard. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do with the difficulty, the whole difficulty aspect of it. But I'm a little nervous about what's his name, the Nameless King.
Type. So Mark, with the Coochie Rage boost, went up to Conquest and actually shattered his gauntlet while shattering his hand as well. So Mark finally decided to lock in after the husband was on life support. And look at this, bro. Conquest started bear hugging this man just for Mark to bite the flesh off of this man. Bro has turned feral. But the end of this was just crazy. Conquest hits Mark with a combo and plants him on the ground. And he gets up in his ear and says,
I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me. They think that I'm a freaky ass nigga. They didn't even give me a name. I only have a purpose. Conquest. I'm suffering from my...
Yeah, you can play. Yeah, you can play. You gotta have a mic, though. You got a mic?
Oh, success, nigga.
So after Conquest shared his deepest insecurities to Mark, he starts choking the life out of him and is about to end early, but resurrected Eve with the power of shit, I don't know.
Yeah, because if we're like fighting bosses and doing all kinds of stuff, trying to, you gotta have a mic. We need some comms. We gotta communicate here.
It's that nigga with a love beam, and she flagged this old nigga till his ass was butt booty naked. And from this point, it was over. Mark started playing God of War and started spamming circle. Bro started headbutting this man to death until he was unresponsive, finally putting an end to this senior citizen's reign of terror.
Or
damn,
so
bro.
we thought. Because after the fight, this dumbass buffoon, Cecil, decided to keep him alive. And man, buddy, how do you think this is gonna go when he wakes up? You know what? I don't even need an explanation. You know exactly what the fuck is gonna happen. The Conquest Trial.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is our final spreadsheet.
This man did all of this in one special exhibit.
Easiest round table win of all time. No questions need to be asked.
So
That's it. So hope y'all enjoyed, man. And I should see y'all next weekend if everything goes well. But until then,
What is this? Yo. Yeah, so like, to summarize it, Cecil is an idiot, bro. Cecil, like somebody who doesn't understand aliens or who thinks he understands aliens, like Mark and the Viltrumites, bro, you just imprisoned the one Viltrumite that the Viltrumites are terrified of. And you want to try to get up in his... Bro, let me tell you. I don't know if they've animated it, but this would be great for the plot, right? The only thing that's showing being locked up is Conquest's fucking head, right? All that dude got to do is whenever he comes to and his face heals or whatever, because, the Viltrumites can heal. Whenever his face gets back to normal and his crooked ass teeth grow back, he can probably knock out one of his teeth with his own tongue and just spit it at Cecil and killing him. He can literally just use his teeth as projectiles and just start killing people, which I wouldn't put it past him to do. Like he can just easily escape. Or if anything, just raise his shoulders, raise his arms. Like, you saw Mark bench pressing with that giant ass machine like it was nothing. The dude was like benching planets. You mean to tell me that Conquest, which is like the strongest of all of them, can't just flex his muscles, do a squat? You know what I'm saying? Like stand up, move his arms, butterfly swim through the goddamn middle. Like, what are you on about? All right. So we got that one. The trial of Conquest. Like it. Go subscribe to CJ the Champ. I had jacked his name up before, but go subscribe. Go subscribe. I want to read it. I want to read the comic too. For Invincible. I want to see Mark be able to hold his own. You know, like in a good fight. A good fight. I want to see him like 5 years older or something. You know? Got some hands on him. Because he's just constantly getting slapped up. Alright. Let's throw in something small in between. Let's do let's check out the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end. Oh, sorry, the beginning after the end, official trailer 2. So hopefully we see a little bit more from this one. The Reincarnation Adventure read by. Okay. Can't read that fast, bro. What do you say? The only problem with Marcus. Why are you calling him Marcus? Is he's too loving. He doesn't have the evil in, like his father in him. Yeah. That's true. But still, bro. Like, unless they specifically state that being more evil is how you become more powerful, then that's never going to happen. And to be honest, all the other marks that showed up, they were evil and they still couldn't really beat Earth's mark, that mark. So I don't know if I'm just thinking like way too hard, because that argument wouldn't really work. He fought off like 15 evil marks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, being an evil mark doesn't make you stronger. There's got to be something else. Like, his dad was saying that you have to overcome, like, battle after battle, struggle after struggle to become, like, a strong Viltrumite. So, unless, after this fight with Conquest, he's got it. So, if Conquest is right here, and the beginning of the fight, if Conquest is right here, hold on, let me. If Conquest is right here at the beginning of that fight and Mark was right here, at the end of it, they should be like, maybe like right here. So Conquest is still at the top and Mark's about right here. Right? Because, to be honest, Mark didn't win that battle all by himself. He had help from Eve. And if Eve wouldn't have stepped in, dead ass, Earth would have been destroyed. Like, let's keep it a buck. You know? So once Conquest gets all healed and he's all better and stuff like that, and they have a round 2, Mark has to win. If Mark doesn't win from learning and becoming stronger from the ass whooping that he had got from Conquest in the beginning, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, he don't really, he's not on nothing. I don't know what's going on with Mark. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with him being too nice. He's just bad. He's just ass. So let's restart this. Okay, so this is another, like, isekai, or how do you even pronounce it? Isekai. So we got another one. This dude is being reborn into a baby. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, though, bro. I'm kind of getting like so burnt out by all these, like, he was a loser in the past life, now he's an orphan with all nothing but women, you know?
私の知らない力が存在している。早急に力を手にする必要がある。これは殺さなければ己が死ぬ。もっと早く。もっと早く。
チビの朝、その力で何をする？
You hear the music?
大切な人を守りたい。私、この花大好き。
こんな私が笑って出迎えてもらうなど。
朝、逃げて。
今の私には家族と
ありがとう、朝。
愛してくれる仲間がいる。私は変われると信じたい。
だってなんとなくわかるから、未来を決めるのは自分自身だからね。
さあ、出発だ。
最強の王様、二度目の人生は何をする？
I'm gonna tell you something. I can't really complain about these like these trailers too, because I literally learned nothing from that trailer. Aside from the fact that it's the same as like all these other reborn into another world, or I got reborn into a child and I kept all my memories and I have a loving family now and I have to protect them. Like, I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna check it out. But I'm not gonna hold myself to it. Like, 150,000 people, 150,000 million, 150 million people watched it, read it, kept up with it. It's got to be good. It's got to be pretty good. So we're gonna check it out, you know. All right. Like it. Let me see what people thought about it. The end before the beginning. Did people not like it? Why is everyone so negative about the anime? Have you read the manhwa? That's me right there. I'm not really so negative. I'm just giving my honest opinion. Like, the only reason why you think of it as a negative opinion, the only reason why you think of it as negative is because you don't like it. You know? So, I'm just being honest with it. It's like, the industry is so saturated with reborn anime that they're just pumping it out just because they know that people want to watch it, because it's like a self-insert type of thing. It's like, oh, you didn't like the way you were before. Here's a second try. But you get to remember everything. It's like, yeah, of course, that sounds satisfying. Okay, but you know what? I'm always down to be surprised and like eat my words, you know, because it's like, even with Solo Leveling, I never read any of it. I never looked at any clips of it. I never watched any TikToks on it. I never looked at any type of marketing for Solo Leveling at all. You know, I watched the anime, and then I looked at, you know, videos like Annie News talking about everything that was cut out of the manhwa and the light novels and this, that, and third, right? So, turns out, you know, it's really good. Does it fit in like every single genre of anime to like kill all those genres? No. But still, like, as an overall rating up until the last episode for season 2, I want to say if I combine seasons 1 and season 2 of Solo Leveling together and I give it like a rating, I would say the fights, I want to say the Solo Leveling fights, they do seem to be a little bit one-sided from the last 2 fights, you know, but that's the way the anime is supposed to be. Is like, he's supposed to have been the worst. You know, he was a E rank. He was straight garbage, bottom of the barrel hunter. And now he's just waxing everybody. So that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be written. as far as like the story goes with Solo Leveling, I'll probably touch up on it like later on another video. I'll use this right here. The story for Solo Leveling, that the anime isn't really doing it too much of a justice. You know, the anime, they're leaving out a lot of things. To me, feels like they're leaving out some stuff. They're blasting through it too fast. And it might just be because I have like One Piece brain. And I'm not talking about I don't want a fight to be over, you know, within like an episode or two. Because I was satisfied with Bleach whenever Bleach did it, you know. Solo Leveling, they did the same thing. They did pretty good. They ended an episode, you know, before they didn't put like 15 cliffhangers in front of these boss fights and stuff like that, like these main fights. But I do wish they were longer, you know. And that's the argument that everybody has, you know what I'm saying? Like every single person that has a complaint about Solo Leveling as a collective is that the episodes aren't long enough. That they wish that they had more of it. They don't want the episode to end. Like, by saying that, you're literally saying that you don't mind if the episode is an hour long. Shit, if they told you that the episode was going to be an hour and 30 minutes long, you'd be fine with it. Because there are rumors going around that episode 12 episode 12 and episode 13 were going to be 1 hour specials. And everybody was loving it and they were down for it. You know what I'm saying? Because they were like speed running the anime. Now, whenever you decide to give the audience what they want, and then you're like, you know what? We're going to make Solo Leveling long. Then whenever it gets too long, and then the people who have never watched Solo Leveling decide that they want to watch it, you know what I'm saying? When Solo Leveling hits 600 episodes, and somebody wants to watch Solo Leveling, and they're like, it's got too many episodes. It's like you can't please everybody. You got everybody right now complaining that it isn't long enough and that the cliffhangers, you know, they're just like, fuck, man. It's like the episode, I need more. And that's what One Piece did. And then as soon as it gets to a certain amount, people are like, it's too long. You know, it's like, I've been on both sides. And for the people who haven't, I'm telling you, this is why you can't handle a long-term anime. Because it's too long. Like, shut the fuck up. Tower of God Season 2, welcome to the club, bro. You won't reach Solo Leveling quality. Yeah, it kind of do look like it's giving me like Tower of God feel, bro. I only watched one episode of Tower of God. Season 2. It was such a flop. Does it look like PowerPoint? Let me look at it again. It do look like a PowerPoint. It do look like a PowerPoint. Damn. It sure do look like a PowerPoint. Yeah, we gotta do something about PowerPoint anime. 35 seconds has me worried as well as all the still frames. Oh yeah, that looked bad. Holy shit. Please do not ruin this masterpiece. Okay, people are saying this is a masterpiece. Okay. Do not cut important scenes like they did in Solo Leveling. See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. A lot of y'all probably gonna think, oh, this nigga yapping, bro. You don't know what he talking about. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Which is why I have to watch any news videos to make sure that I can understand how the plot is moving, because they prioritize the fights over everything. You can't even name the main characters besides Fire Guy and Cha. You really can't. And then the only other people you can name are his fucking shadows. Igris. Tusk, and Iron. Bro, all I know is Cha, Beck, Huang Dong-soo. Bro, that's it. We're on fucking season 2, and you only know like 3 names, bro. And Jin-Ho. I'm trying. I'm dead ass trying to know these names. Oh man. I just turned this 1 minute and 28 second video probably into a 10-minute reaction. Hey, it is what it is. I told you I can yap, bro. I'm a pro yapper, bro. All right, Moonrise. I wanted to check this out. Oh my God, let's not let this be bad too, bro. Let's not let this. I'm going in it with a bad mindset. You know what? This is gonna be good, bro. This is gonna be good, dude. This one right here. This is the one. This is the one right here. Let's go into a positive mindset. Already, I'm pausing right off the back. I'm starting to get some AOT feels right now. What I say? That kind of looked like AOT. That kind of looked like AOT and like Full Metal. This kind of looking like Destiny, if it was an anime. Or it's giving me like Gundam. Yo, look at the way the fight looked. Like how fluid the animation is. Or actually, look at this explosion. Look at that. This is a good ass explosion. The screen is actually moving rather than a PowerPoint. Look at that. Look at the way that this is next to the trailer we just watched, or before the beginning of the end, whatever it's called. Right? Cape is moving. The cape was flowing. He was moving down. It wasn't the screen was just moving across with the words. You know, it just all the thing that was just animated was the mouth. Like. See, look how much stuff is like active and flowing. The hair's moving, the cape's moving, they're moving their hands. This is good animation. They be turning it into April 10th. Like a lot of these studios nowadays, like they think that it's just like straight up children that are watching anime. Whenever, well, they might be right, being children at heart, right? We was watching. The children are now adults, bruh. Like, I was watching, we were all watching Dragon Ball Z back when we was a kid. And now, we pushing, 30, 40, 50 people that was watching Dragon Ball. Like, did y'all see that they had the cartels decide to, like, stop all the violence just so that everybody can watch Goku go Ultra Instinct? Did y'all not remember that? Did y'all not see that? Like, anime was really bringing people together and shit. They was telling the cartels was just not on no violent shit. They just wanted to watch Goku go crazy. So they be thinking like, oh, there's still children that watch anime heavy. So we could just go ahead and make PowerPoints and move the screen up, down, left, right. And then they going to think is the most greatest thing ever. They won't bat an eye. No, bro. We're not trying to watch no fucking Cocomelon. We ain't trying to watch all that shit. All right. Any news? Any news, boy? Hold up.
I guess solo leveling really
Any news? I cannot give you enough props, bro. Thank you for the cut content, missed content, any way you want to put it. I'm so glad I stumbled on your videos. Because like I said, Solo Leveling, they have been breezing through their episodes to where they leave very to little context as to what is going on. But the fights are animated gold. I cannot complain about them fights. I cannot complain about Solo Leveling's fights. It is hard to make a perfect anime. To a lot of people, there is no perfect anime. But I feel like one of the anime that have gotten as close as possible that everyone knows about, I really do feel like is AOT. AOT has gotten like some of the best pacing, best storyline to where you will never guess what's going on or never guess what's going to happen next. And if you did guess what was going to happen, kudos to you, because you probably got some 250 IQ brain power, bro. Like, help us mortals and shit out. Like, that was... AOT is such a good storyline. And if One Piece was able to compress and cut all the face changing back and forth for 5-minute filler, in One Piece, that's their main problem. And then dragging out the fights for a whole year, like 2 years, by like... They do okay by jumping to other people's fights. I feel like the way that they prolong fights, it wouldn't work that way. Because, it's like, imagine if they had Cha, Beck, Fire Dude, and then everybody else doing 1v1s, and then they switch scenes back and forth from like Jinwoo to Beck, and all of them running they fades, and then they won't end on Jinwoo's fight with Biru until everybody else finish they fades with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it needed to be. Like if they had like other ants that were coming up as like lieutenants and stuff to Biru, and then Beck and all of them had to take them out and fight them and do 1v1s, I feel like that would have been perfect. But instead, they made Beck and all of them look fodder. They made them look useless. They just stood there like cheerleaders and just watched their granddaddy Jinwoo go to work. But it's cool. That's the way solo leveling is supposed to be. It's in the title. It's solo. He's just solo dolo. That's all he do on his own.
I guess solo leveling really knows what the fans want. What could have been an emotional scene highlighting what's at stake and the diminishing faith Korea has in its hunters was instead a Sakuga-filled anime original scene of Cha fighting the Ant Queen. Both would have been pretty awesome, but as much as I do, one appeals more to the mainstream than the other. That being the case, allow me to build up that tension and set the tone for you, since a lot of the little scenes which do exactly that were left out. We'll also go through how it is the raid really went down, since there's a bit more to be said from both the Korean and Japanese side. So, just as we do every week, here's everything that didn't make it into the anime.
Hold on. And I want to say another thing about solo leveling. Like, props to y'all on beating One Piece's record. Like, props to y'all 100%. And I can't stress it enough that I feel like solo leveling would be better. Not because of its own fault. I feel like the studios that are in charge of animating solo leveling really don't want it to succeed as much as it would. I really do think that. Like they're taking like little small jabs at solo leveling to make people like myself nitpick it,
The extra details to make your solo leveling experience a more complete one. Now, if you want some high quality streetwear to make your wardrobe more complete, there's only a few days left to secure the new designs to be cooked up. We're closing the store for
Cop the merch.
Monday, so if you were interested in any of these subtle nods to solo leveling, be sure to get one now before they're gone forever. They're all sourced locally and made in-house, so you can trust the material, print quality, and durability are the best they can be. So, whether it's Iron's shield, Igris' sword, or Sung's daggers, you can carry that Shadow Army aesthetic pretty much anywhere. Just click the link down below to check them out. But anyway, episode 23. It's going to get even more intense, covering chapters 96 to 100 from the manhwa and chapters 115 to 118 from the web novel. Let's start things off at the beginning of Raid Day, where numerous warships would be deployed all from the coasts of China, Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. Despite half those countries not being involved, it seems others were preparing for the worst. Korea naturally had several contingencies in place too, part of which was the large number of hunters stationed to the south. They were ready for any ants that might have fled to the mainland. This is because, even in the case of a successful mission, there was a good chance at least a few ants would find their way there. So, with the number of hunters it required to take out just one, sending multiple strike squads south certainly wasn't overly precautious at all. Multiple other strike squads were stationed to defend national territory, each consisting of 1 B rank leader, 3 C ranks, then over 10 D and E ranks. They were groups comprised of both active and retired hunters. There were even those who awakened yet chose not to become hunters. All in all, it was a force totaling 5,000, so out of the 50,000 awakened that currently reside in Korea, that meant 1/10 of them showed up to defend their country. A lot of these volunteers are people like the cameraman, who's a good example of someone who awakened yet chose not to become a hunter. They're people who live a normal life due to raids just not being for them. For the main squad currently flying to Jeju Island, Guildmaster Ma was chosen.
I never
as
thought
their
about that
leader.
either. Bro,
He was
what the hell
incredibly
am I
honored to be
doing?
Fighting alongside the people.
Hold on, bro. We gotta restart this. I'll fix it. I'll chop it up. All right. Wait, what is going on here? Wake the fuck up.
Link down below to check them out. But anyway, episode 23. It's going to get even more intense, covering chapters 96 to 100 from the manhwa and chapters 115 to 118 from the web novel. Let's start things off at the beginning of Raid Day, where numerous warships would be deployed all from the coasts of China, Taiwan, Japan, and Korea. Despite half those countries not being involved, it seems others were preparing for the worst. Korea naturally had several contingencies in place too, part of which was the large number of hunters stationed to the south. They were ready for any ants that might have fled to the mainland. This is because, even in the case of a successful mission, there was a good chance at least a few ants would find their way there. So, with the number of hunters it required to take out just one, sending multiple strike squads south certainly wasn't overly precautious at all. Multiple other strike squads were stationed to defend national territory, each consisting of 1 B rank leader, 3 C ranks, then over 10 D and E ranks. They were groups comprised of both active and retired hunters. There were even those who awakened yet chose not to become hunters. All in all, it was a force totaling 5,000, so out of the 50,000 awakened that currently reside in Korea, that meant 1/10 of them showed up to defend their country. A lot of these volunteers are people like the cameraman, who's a good example of someone who awakened yet chose not to become a hunter. They're people who live a normal life due to raids
sleepers,
just
bro.
not being for them. For the main squad
Sleeper
currently
hunters.
flying to Jeju Island, Guildmaster Ma was chosen as their leader. He was incredibly honored to be fighting alongside the people he was because he knew he'd never be able to raid with such capable hunters again. It was while on the helicopter that Cha would ask Beck if he knew why Sung declined, a question to which he obviously said no. When Beck then asked why it was she wanted to know, a rare flustered Cha would answer no reason in particular.
'Cause that's her
Shortly
baby
after is when
daddy.
the raid would commence, leading a small
That's
number
her
of
baby
ants to
daddy.
attack the helicopter. Since not every ant was capable of flight, there were only 7 who had come out to meet them. The thing is, Choi's fire wasn't actually enough to kill them. Yes, it was capable of burning away their wings, but the fact it couldn't one-shot them was a little concerning. It showed him that if he really wanted to incinerate them, then a lot more firepower was necessary. These evolved ants were no longer as easy to kill as they were in the last raid. It's then that Choi would jump into the ant tunnels first, clearing all nearby enemies with a massive AoE burst upon landing. As if skydiving hands in pocket wasn't aura enough.
Yeah, like, why are all these characters aura farming? Like, that is their main goal here. Or is it Japan that's doing it, man? Is Japan animating this? Like, they still got a vendetta against the Koreans, like, in the show. Like, dead ass. Like, Korea is battling the all the Japanese soldiers in the anime and in the studios. Like, bro, now I hear fireworks. The last time I played with ants was when I was a little boy. I remember hearing faint snapping noises every time I torched an ant with the lighter. Yeah, that's some, little psycho torture shit,
His one-liner after definitely was. So, if you didn't
And he
happen
did the glasses thing, too. He fixed the glasses and shit. Like, bro, he is literally trying to aura farm every single moment. Hands in the pocket, aura farm. Adjusting glasses, telling him, like, giving him a speech, more aura farming. What is he gonna do next? He gonna if If he shows a frame where he's got his hand out and another hand in his pocket, he did the trifecta. That's a hat trick.
Appreciation for Choi before, then these two panels together should change that. For the Japan squads who'd been fighting for about 10 minutes now, it was about time to initiate the next phase of their plan. The intended retreat, which would send every single ant back into the tunnels. It was right as Goto was about to give the order, though, that Team C's lack of comms would prevent him.
Damn,
There
bro,
was a
he's
chance
just
it
sitting
was
there with no
simply due
head.
to equipment failure, but considering the number of checks done to them beforehand, it was very unlikely that that was what was happening. So, because the order to retreat needed to be relayed to them too, Goto decided to make his way to them himself. If he didn't, proceeding with the plan would likely cause Team C to meet the same fate as the Korean hunters. It was a price Goto knew he couldn't afford, since when considering the subjugation operations that were to happen after this, Team C was far too important. Especially since, aside from Goto, they were composed of Japan's strongest. This is because Team C was positioned closest to the ant tunnel, so it made sense to ensure that they were the most stacked. That being the case, to lose them due to a fault of miscommunication, well, that was a cost which would hurt Japan greatly. Luckily, Goto and Team C had landed relatively close, so with his current speed he figured he could get to them in about 10 minutes. Switching back to the Korean team, for the time being they were relatively safe, with Choi's Flame Prison acting as a shield preventing the re-entry of ants B rank or lower. That meant they could venture deeper without the worry of being flanked from behind. It was a good application of a move typically used to tie up enemies. Inside, the tunnels were incredibly dark, creating for a dungeon experience that was fundamentally different. You see, where usually the insides of gates were lit up by illumination stones, no light here made it difficult to see anything. All they had was Choi's magic and the cameraman's flashlight. So, in addition to facing enemies who had evolved to see in the dark, they themselves could barely see anything. It was an added layer of difficulty that made things harder. Now, with Choi having no choice but to lead the group, it was Ma's job as leader and tank to stand right next to him. His normal outgoing behavior was nowhere to be seen though, as every ounce of focus was spent observing their surroundings. The same could be said for Beck as well, since ever since entering the tunnels he hadn't said a word. He was now using his Eyes of the Beast to detect even the slightest changes of magical energy. The only hunter who remained the same way they always were was Cha with her typical calm, composed attitude.
That was a good touch. Like her jumping on her blade to give it more force to cut. That's good thinking right there. That's good thinking.
It was once they arrived at the egg chamber that the ants they fought here were simply the nursery guards. They were lesser evolved versions of the ants that were now the Queen's Guards. This brings us back to the Japanese side, where Goto would arrive at Team C's massacre. The novel didn't describe how said massacre happened, but when compared to the manhwa, the anime was a perfect execution of their executions. Now, you might be wondering how it is Kenzo got injured before this, but it was simply because the ants were more organized than he thought. By attacking with military tactics and flying in a battle formation, the intelligence they exhibited was far beyond what he was expecting. It was another example highlighting the ants' crazy evolution. Now, it was in the novel that Team C actually had 5 S ranks, since the overall strike force was all 20 of Japan's S rank hunters. That being the case, the fact all 5 were killed regardless made their executions all the more worrying. Their bodies didn't indicate any sort of battle either, so where Goto's teammates assumed it was a fight involving multiple ants, Goto immediately knew it was one. The lack of ant corpses made such a conclusion clear. Their eaten heads also indicated the same cause of death, so when combining that with the fact that this was the work of only one monster, the conclusion Goto came to was that this had to have been done by the raid boss. He would then call headquarters and—
Damn, what did he do, like burn his body, or he ate the rest of his body? Did you see that?
Came to was that this had to have been done by the raid—
Like, that's his rib cage, ain't it?
boss. He would then call headquarters and ask for the location of the Queen, wanting to confirm whether his suspicion was true or not. You see, with Japan being one of 3 countries possessing a satellite equipped with magic energy detection technologies, it was very easy to pinpoint where exactly the Queen was whenever they wanted. It was when headquarters revealed the Queen was still in the tunnels that Goto would panic and order every Japanese hunter off the island immediately. Reason being that the annihilation of 5 of their best hunters from one unknown enemy was far beyond any of their expectations. Yes, they did plan for all sorts of possibilities and variables, but whatever this was far past the scope of any of it. That's when Goto would remember something odd reported to him 4 months ago, involving the Ant Queen and a change in her power levels. Since she was being monitored 24/7, Japan was able to clearly see when its energy levels changed. That being the case, when a massive decline in her emissions was detected almost 4 months ago, Japan's best researchers deemed this the Queen's lifespan coming to its end. With its detected magical energy less than half of what it usually was, this was the only conclusion they could come to.
And this is everything that you don't know, because the anime does not do any justice to giving any backstory about anybody. Like, they ain't saying nothing about the Queen at all. None of that. They ain't talking about none of that Queen power level going down. And what I was going to assume was that the Queen's power level went down because she was giving birth to that monstrosity. Right? She was giving birth to that monstrosity. And then it took all of her power, like most of it.
1 month was all it took for the Queen's levels to return back to normal though, so with researchers now stumped with regards to what this was, Goto couldn't help but think perhaps that was related to this. So, it was as he wondered more about who this mysterious enemy was that the Korean team would be dealing with the remnants of guards before the boss room. Min had given buffs tailored to each of his party members, so that gave a better idea of what each member's role was. Most did make sense given each member's known abilities, but some of you might be shocked to see Cha with more of a bruiser type buff. Considering how she was the main tank for her own guild, it made sense to give her a boost in both offense and defense. It's a role we'll see come more into play in the boss room. For any ants that did get past the front line right now, Min was more than capable of handling them himself. Yes, being a healer did mean his combat skills weren't the greatest, but when compared to other hunters, they were still at the A rank level. It was more than enough power to handle at least 1 or 2 ants. 5 minutes was all it took to handle the second wave of ants before the boss room, mostly because Cha's buff made her way more efficient. Where before she was slaying the same number of ants as everyone else, now she was killing double what Beck was. It gave the squad a lot more time to work with. Since getting here took about 15 minutes from landing, that left about 30 minutes to kill the boss then evacuate. They needed to leave extra time to make it back to the point from which they entered from. It was once the team got close to the boss room that Beck would sense only 8 guards and the Queen. There wasn't a whole army like how we saw in the anime, but rather these 9 lone targets making the battle a lot more intimate.
See, they had 8 guards, and it didn't even look like they was guarding nothing. They had 8 guards, 8 ant guards, like royal guards, that should have been hands. They just made them look like nothing. They just made them look like a bunch of ants, for real.
Part of the reason this is important to note is because a specific strategy was come up with to deal with them. You see, with each guard being as strong as an S rank, Ma tanking all of them simply wasn't possible. If they were going to take these ants on properly, then a secondary tank was needed to draw aggro from the Queen's guards. So, given that Cha was the main tank for her own guild, it made sense to set her as the secondary tank.
Okay, I do remember that. I do remember him like taking point, and then he had like that big shield that he brought out. But I'm expecting the ants to have some kind of like, they talked about how they were intelligent and they used like different battle tactics, and that's how that dude got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude in the Japanese squad, he had that giant slash on his trap, right? It's like, how come we didn't see like no intelligent fighting from the ants here? It was really just like, we have you surrounded and we're just gonna use our numbers. Like that doesn't. Yeah, I guess that's a good tactic, but if they're the royal guard, I want to see them like blocking their attacks back. You know, if they're like supposed to be S rank, like you can't be an S rank character and, you know what I'm saying, and be dumb as shit, like dumb as rocks, right? Like you can't be, I don't know, man. It's like if you're an S rank, I'm assuming like you're great at whatever stat you're at, and you have some kind of brains. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have some kind of brains to have gotten to an S. You can't just be an S just alone on talent. You gotta have some kind of, like, you know what I'm saying, like, battle sense.
She would be the primary guard while Ma preoccupied the queen. This led her to engage with a skill called Tremor of Provocation, which, as an AoE taunt, drew aggro from all the guards and the queen.
There we go.
Ma would then use his own Battle Cry of Provocation, which, unlike Cha's skill, was a single target taunt drawing attention from only the queen. So, with the guards and queen now split, all Ma had to do was endure. He simply stood tall and prayed his efforts were enough to protect both himself and his colleagues.
And they did a good job of showing, you know, whenever Jinwoo popped up, I know I'm getting ahead of it. You know, this was episode 12. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But in 12, you know, Jinwoo, he used iron to provoke, you know, and draw aggro from all the other ants too. But they showed it. Like, they animated that, like, a little bit better, you know? Like, they just didn't really show these S ranks, like, as nothing. They just kind of showed how worthless they were. You know, it's like, I think the only good attack that the Ant Queen did was that poison.
It was at this point the
that was like the best attack
up,
the Ant
Min's
Queen did.
forceful pullback was a lot stronger than he expected. To add to why Min did that, it was essentially because no one was responsible for keeping the cameraman safe other than himself. With the boss fight now well underway, not a single hunter had time to look out for him anymore. So, this was a message to which the cameraman had zero response to, but he was thrown back.
Did Solo Leveling copy Hunter x Hunter? In a way, yeah, you can argue that they did. Solo Leveling has taken, like, inspiration from, I want to say, every single anime when it comes to its, like, animating its fights and the story. Like, they've taken inspiration from every anime and made their own thing, you know? So,
back by just how powerful Min seemed. Though physically he was the weakest S rank, not only did his aura completely overwhelm his own, but his strength was many levels greater as well. It made clear the difference between an S rank and an A rank. This brings us to a scene I was pretty surprised they didn't include, since it does well to showcase the far-reaching impact of Jeju Island across the country. Meet Grandma and Grandpa, an old couple where one's interested in the raid and the other not. Grandpa used to be highly interested in all things related to Jeju Island, but lately he found himself apart from it. The reason he was so invested before was because the day the gate first broke there was the day he lost his only son. It was an event that caused him to become a massive supporter of hunters too, since what other way was there to avenge his son than help the people he could? So, for years, Grandpa would donate lots of money to the Hunter Association, filling his heart with anticipation that this raid would be the one to avenge him. He was so caught up in seeing it happen that in the days before the raid he couldn't even sleep. This, of course, filled him with high expectations too, but the more eager he was, the bigger the disappointment when those raids ultimately ended in failure. So, it was during the third raid that the news would say all the things that they were saying now, leading Grandpa to feel like he was betrayed since it all turned out to be a lie. The reporters always said how the raid was going to work this time, but with each attempt, the outcome was always the same. Eventually, Grandpa would stop talking about hunters altogether, as he had stopped expecting the one thing he wanted most from them. To him, the subjugation of the ants was a dream long gone now. It's the reason why he's so grumpy here, and it's also why he's so emotionally invested shortly after. It was before he would have this change of heart, though, that Grandma would show her faith all the way through. She never gave up hope that these hunters could avenge their son. She did feel bad that such young people were seen getting injured, but she also cheered whenever they made progress. Like, with each Queensguard the team took out, both her and the neighbors around her could all be heard yelling. It was a sentiment of hope shared across the entire country. It was when only 2 guards were left that's when Grandpa would join her, showing nothing but anticipation for the success of the hunters currently fighting. Both were overcome with emotion as they reminisced of the last memory they had with their son. It was a celebration for the job he'd just secured over at Jeju Island. So, This scene may not seem like much, but what it does give is an inside view into the perspective of the everyday person. Last episode, Chairman Go was worried about the diminishing faith in the Hunter Association, and this right here was the scene to
This is
prove
valid.
that notion that an entire nation was depending on them was really made clear. Now, for the sole TV station that was reporting the raid, its audience rating had reached a new viewership record of 85%. For context on how much that was, even if South Korea was to reach the finals of the World Cup tomorrow, no studio would even come close to that. Everyone was way more interested in the country about to become one of the few who've successfully cleared an S-rank gate. With only America, China, Russia, and France completing one before, this Korea-Japan team was about to become the 7th to ever do so. So, given how rare of an occurrence this was, the director couldn't help but think about all the money he was about to make. That's when the howling screech could be heard
That's
from
true.
his feed, along with an update regarding the alarming news that the Japan teams were withdrawing. This brings us to the fight with the Queen herself, which, honestly, the anime did better than both. They added quite a lot
Did they?
to Cha's scenes, and the panels which the manhwa depicted beautifully were brought to life as best they probably could. I do still
Okay.
like to appreciate how amazing the manhwa looks, though.
Yeah.
It was after getting healed from the acid attack that Ma would activate the defense skill Advanced Fortification, enabling him to endure the Queen's attacks easily now. The rest would jump in and force the Queen into a corner, leading Beck to see that this was it for her. His instincts revealed exactly how she felt up until the screech happened. It was once the fight was over that the novel and anime would show this brief moment of celebration, but in the manhwa there was no such time for that. As soon as the Queen was dead, the Ant King would be there shortly after. It was right before it showed up, though, that Hunter Ma would get the call confirming the Japan team's withdrawal. Immediately, everyone began to assume this situation was futile, since if 20 S-rank hunters couldn't even hold off the ants for 30 minutes, then how could the 6 of them fend off an entire army indefinitely? It was a bad situation turned worse when he showed up.
It was all a trap to begin with, so it's like, damn, what do you do there? They don't even know. They didn't even know it was a trap. But I feel like Sung's probably going to tell them, after this is all said and done, that, you know, Japan had not so good intentions when it came to, you know, this whole mission. And it backfired, like, to the worst case scenario type of backfire.
With the Ant King's footsteps sending shivers down their spine, the hunters present could only stare in awe at it. Cha would be the first to recognize something was incredibly wrong, since for a monster so ominous, she couldn't sense its presence at all. The Ant King was a being she could only sense with her eyes. This was a discrete level of power she'd only ever felt once before, and that was from Sung himself.
That's crazy, bro.
So, as she stared listlessly at the oppressive aura this Ant King emanated, she could only imagine fighting it was akin to facing off against Sung. It was a fearsome thought that caused her to shudder and restricted her breathing. Ma, as the leader, needed to make a quick decision here, but as logical as it was to just fight the monster, a strong sense of unease prevented him from giving the order. It was when he finally overcame every basic instinct telling him to run that the Ant King had already gotten behind him.
Dude, the Ant King looks so good in the manhwa. It looks so good.
In a flash, it moved to the Queen without a
Look at him,
single-
bro. He looks cool as fuck. Like, the colors look so much better on him.
Hunter noticing. It was speed that confirmed this was in fact a threat unlike any they'd ever faced before. So, it didn't simply walk like how we saw in the anime, and it didn't eat the Ant Queen either. It instead roared so menacingly it brought everyone to their knees. It's not clear whether this was an attack or not, but the sheer intensity of it was enough to paralyze everyone. Only Cha remained standing, albeit just barely. That's when the Ant King would choose to focus her, striking her on the side of the head and rendering her unconscious. The rest of the fight is depicted very faithfully to the manhwa, but does differ slightly when it comes to the novel. So, as shocking as it was to see Cha removed from the fight instantly, every hunter present knew the longer they hesitated, the less likely.
Yeah. This nigga right here. He sold so hard, bro. He sold out the healer so bad, dude. Like, this ant was already chewing on people's heads and gaining intelligence. And then you want to sit there and blab that he won't be able to do the damage that he could do because they got a healer, a S rank healer that's on their side. He sold
It
so
was for
hard.
them to survive.
He sold
It
so
was a
hard.
mindset that led Ma to grab the Ant King with a bear hug, restricting its movements until his opponent would sever his arms from the inside. It was then Beck knew he had to intervene because to not do so now meant Ma would have been killed right there. This forced the Ant King to switch his targets, defeating everyone until Ma would enter again. Turns out the others had been healed too, so every hunter minus Cha got to get a beatdown a second time. It was once Ma had returned for the third that finally the Ant King would clue into the existence of a healer. You see, Min's camouflage was working perfectly. The Ant King truly had no idea where he was, but now that he...
Yo, dude, that tank sold him out so bad, dude. Sold him out so bad.
knew Min was around, there were several ideas it had to work around it, one of which was to use Ma as bait. So, the Ant King decided to constantly damage him by giving him the Loki treatment, but held back just
Yup.
enough in order to keep him alive. That way, it would look as if he was about to kill him, forcing Min to have to heal Ma over and over again. This created for a constant output of healing magic, from which the Ant King could then pinpoint Min's location. You see, small bursts made it impossible to hone in on where it was coming from, but a steady stream of magic would eventually become perceptible to anyone. This would be how the Ant King found Min,
And he couldn't
ultimately
move,
leading
right?
to his death.
He couldn't move.
Eating his head then allowed it to gain Min's strength and knowledge, which is a topic I'll actually cover in an extra cut content video.
Ooh, I wanna think too that ant, whenever he eats people, he can probably gain their ability as well. So when he ate the healer's head, he gained the ability to regenerate himself too. I got it. That's a good ass. That is a good ass predict right there.
The way this monster became the Ant King is actually a small side topic of its own. Now, it was when the Ant King asked Beck where the Human King was that in the novel Beck would straight up out Goto and say he was outside. As cowardly as it
Hold up.
was, Beck had no choice but to use Goto as a means to buy time for him and his teammates. Now, considering how the outcome of Goto's fight is still inconclusive, I'll wait till next week to talk about how that went. If you're wondering why Goto decided to call himself the king though, you'd be surprised to know it wasn't entirely out of hubris. It was actually a firm belief that stemmed out of a position he planned to hold in the future. Since Japan's true plans were to subjugate Korea and create an empire, Goto knew the only viable person to assume that throne was him. So when he really thought about
I am
what
the
it was
captain.
the Ant King was asking, Goto had no problem confirming he was the king. To him, he had every right to say he was. It was only a matter of time before such a position was solidified as truth. At least that's what he thought anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Don't forget to check out the Solo Leveling merch and
Check
be
out the
sure to
merch.
subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time though, ciao.
Yo. So yeah. All the positives that came out of, that episode was the fact that the Japan hunters, what the fuck, bro? Spit it out. The Japan hunters, they definitely got what they deserved. What I hope for is that Jinwoo got enough intel and proof so that way he could show Chairman Go that they were up to no good and had planned on betraying them during the whole raid. Those seem like good things that could happen that they probably won't put in, but that's too important of a detail for the anime to not throw in there. I don't know if it's in the manga or the light novel because I have not watched it or read it, but they should put that in there. Maybe for season 3. Or in the next episode, since it's supposedly supposed to be a 1-hour special. We're gonna need a lot of information to piece everything together that's going on right after Jinwoo saves Cha by using Biru's abilities to regenerate on her. And I'm throwing that as a predict right here, right now, and I will clip this and throw it into my next reaction later on. Because I feel like I'm on point with that one. I feel like I'm on point. If it wasn't so obvious as to whenever he turned around and looked at him or looked at the audience, he could have been looking at what's it called? You know what flag this is? I could barely see it myself. I could barely see that flag. That flag looked like some World of Warcraft flag. I ain't gonna lie. Looked like a World of Warcraft flag. But, what else? Solo leveling. I think they should have made Biru blacker. They made him like blue. They made him look blue. He needed to be like black. Like a unit of a black ant. Let's see. You don't know what flag that is? I don't know what flag that is. I could barely see it. I could barely see that flag. Keep it a buck. All right. Guilty Gear. You know what? I am not sure. I'm not sure if Guilty Gear is this is the first anime of its kind or anything like that, but I think my cousin used to play the game. Like, this was a game, wasn't it? Rest in peace. Rest in peace, my boy. I think in maybe like 4 more years, maybe 5 more years, I would have outlived my cousin. One of my homies, bro. Like my brother. But Guilty Gear, I hope this is good for you, bro.
罪深き生体兵器ギア。ギアに滅びよ。
ギアとの聖戦により悲劇の時代は終わりました。
Dang, that art looks good. They got a little bit of CGI in there.
我が名はユニカ。世界を救うために来た。
聖戦の英雄カイキスクがギアをめとるとは。聖戦は終わりました。私たちも変わっていく必要があります。殺戮兵。
It's kind of looking like I always got to give a comparison of what it looks like, just in case, you know, anybody agrees or disagrees with the style. Because a lot of people, they can't get into anime like myself because it's just the way the style looks. Like, I know I got a homie, she doesn't watch AOT just because she just doesn't like the art. She can't get with the art, and she doesn't like the way the pacing is of the story, which I think that AOT is probably one of the best anime ever created. It's just really upsetting and sad that she couldn't watch it. I was like, you know what? When I got the money for it, I was like, I will pay you to sit down and binge the entire thing to make it worth your while, you know, just so you can get it out of the way. I don't care. I'll pay you. I'll have a bet with somebody, win or lose, punishment, finish out the anime, watch all of One Piece. You know. But yeah, this kind of looked like fuck. What was that anime? God Eater. It kind of looked like a little bit like God. Not as extreme as God Eater, but it's giving me a little bit of God Eater.
何が目的ですか？ギアとの共存という過ちを正し、人類を救う。あらゆるギアを根絶することだ。どうしようもないか。母さん！全国民を敵に回すことになる。うち結構。
It do look like God Eater.
なんでこんなことすんだよ。そこまでよ。
ここは任せろ。行け、援護しろ。
ユニカと話するの諦めないさ。何か理由があると思うんだ。
お前はそれでいい。
おぞましきギアに味方するも。
What's going on? You know, I went and spoke too soon about YouTube having like a good connection because it is dropping my frames and shit.
ユニカは単独犯ではない。
私たちで黒幕捉えちゃったり情報を聞き出すまでが任務だから救える命も救えねえぞ貴様らがギアをかばうなら聖戦は必ず起きるだろう聖戦は俺が止める
It looks good. April, ooh, next month. It doesn't look all PowerPointy, which is good too. It actually looks like it's good, like been worked on, like they put some effort into it, you know? All right. And I know, you know, I've had like what, 2 requests to watch Sister Leveling, but I'm probably not gonna watch that. Maybe not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm not really into them kind of like, you know, that kind of joke. I actually care a little bit about my digital footprint, at least just a little bit, you know. But hey, when a day comes that I don't care, it's up. I'll be like, whatever, bro, I'll watch it. But right now, no, it's just kind of weird. But all right, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover today, you know. Here we go again, dude. This is what I'm talking about with like all the same reborn anime, bro. It's just really, bro. Am I a hater? Somebody let me know. Am I a hater or what? A brilliant healer's new life in the shadows. Like, what is up, bro? Like, they always got a new life. My new life. Reborn, new life. Like, come on. Let's do something else. All right, official trailer. Ooh, this one sounds promising. This is the official trailer for All You Need Is Kill. This sounds promising. I like this style. Death by Rebirth. That is a cool ability too. I like abilities like that. It's like the day after tomorrow. That looks good. They didn't show a whole lot, but I like the concept. That looks good. It's like the day after tomorrow. But, alright, y'all. I really do think that's it for this stream. I'm going to upload, edit some more reactions and videos. So, we have done really good, yo. Like, this is probably one of my most productive months that I've had on YouTube. I want to say that after I end this stream, this would probably be like my 30th video of the month. Well, I think I uploaded 30 videos within 30 days or 24 days. It's been 24 days. I've uploaded like 30 videos. Hey man, we consistently consistent. But all right, that's it. I'm done for now. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. I am more than likely gonna go live tomorrow because I have an announcement. I'll probably make a what's it called? I'll put up a what's it called? A preview for tomorrow, maybe. Probably play some Elden Ring that night, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I was gonna play some basketball, but it's raining right now. I might just just go ahead and get to editing. But all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later. Gabby, I'll see you later. You need to send me like some clips of you playing Elden Ring, because if you're not playing Elden Ring, I don't think you'll be able to play Night Vale, because they might have something like locked. They might have something locked for Night Vale. Or Night Rain. I want to call it Night Vale. They might have it locked on some kind of thing, that you have to have prerequisites done. Like you had to have killed the Tree Sentinel or Radon or Moog to be playing Night Rain. So, Gabby, you need to check out the prerequisites that you need, or at least beat it, the game once over, just to be safe. So you got plenty of time to beat the game. So go ahead and beat that. And if you got a mic, I'll talk to you in game. So this is about to be kind of crazy though. This is the first time Elden Ring or a Souls game has got like